Good morning, students. Today we're going to continue that we were studying in our previous chapter, which is about the early Vedic civilization. And in this chapter, we have started with understanding about who were the Aryans, and we understood as to how during the early period of the developments of the Harappan civilization, that was around 2500 BCE to 1500 BCE, where the Harappan civilization started to flourish or started to develop, and that was the period when the Aryans in the later 1500 BCE. It stated here that in the period of 1500 BCE, Aryans started arriving towards the Indian territory, and in the initial stage, they were coming towards Indian territory in indigenous groups or individuals. They started grouping themselves in different parts of Indian territories, most probably starting in the northern part of India, northern western part of India. And it was said that during this time in India, there was the rule of Dasus, and Dasyus. These were the two groups of people during this period who used to there in India and who used to live there before the Aryans arrived. And after the Aryans they arrived, they took over their territories and they started settling down in different parts of Indian territory. And it is said that these people lived a life of nomadic style. Now, the question is, what do you mean by nomadic? Nomadic means people who travel from one place to another in search of food and shelter. They do not settle in a particular place. They just move from one place to another searching for basics, amenities of life. And thus how it is said that these people who were regarded as Aryans, who had come from Central Asia, central part of Asia, and they started settling down in Indian territories, which is in the northern western part of India. And slowly, when they started settling down and capturing few other places of Indian parts, they started becoming dwellers or settlers in India. And slowly, when they got a permanent places to settle down, they started making their own permanent places, and they took over certain areas and made their own community and settled down in various parts of Indian territory. It is said that when they came to India and they made settlement in India, they were regarded as Indo-Aryans. These terms are very much important to be understood as to from where they came, that is the Central Asia, what was the period that they started arriving, which was around 1500 BC. Before them, who had their importance in India or who settled in India, who were there found. That was the Dasas and the Dasyus, which were taken over later by the Aryans, and they started settling down. The Aryans lived a nomadic style of life, and later on when they started settling down in India, they were called as Indo-Aryans. So these are the basic things you need to understand. Now, which were the important places that they started settling down and they made their permanent settlements? The region of certain regions of Sapta Sindhu. Sapta Sindhu is a river that existed in the northern western part of India. So they started settling down in and around those areas and made their permanent settlements. Why now it is regarded as Sapta Sindhus? Because there was a combination of several rivers of about 7 rivers that existed in this area, and that is why it was known as Sapta Sindhu, the prevalence or the existence of 7 rivers. Later on, this region was called as they named it as Brahmavarta. So, as time went on, more and more people started gathering there from the Aryan community, and they brought about their prevalence or existence in the Indian territories, and they started settling down. Now, this was the period when permanent settlement started, which was around 1000 BCE, and they started developing various areas, settling their various areas, and this was the period when it was known as the early Vedic. That is why it was known as the early Vedic period. Now, we'll have to understand as to what was the reason why it was termed as the early Vedic period. Now, before that, as I told you, they started settling down in Sapta Sindhu rivers, where prevalence of 7 rivers were there. That is why it was known as Sapta Sindhu. The region was later on given a new name, which was known as Brahmavarta, which was around 1000 BCE when they started permanently settling down in and around the various parts of India in these regions, and that is why it was known as the early Vedic period. Now, they gave themselves a new name. The Aryans gave themselves a new name, which was known as Aryavarta, which is known as Aryavarta. Means the people who were regarded as Aryans and they settled down in Indian territory, who were regarded as Indo-Aryans, and who gave themselves a new name which was known as the Aryavarta, which means the people who came from the land of Aryans and who basically belonged from the community of Aryans. Now, the next that we discussed is about the Vedic literature, the most important thing. The Vedic literature, the Vedic part of the main part, where they got a significance or a name for which this period was known as the early Vedic period, or the early Vedic civilizations who came to the Indian territories, which were performed by most probably the Aryans. Now, the settlements that I told you, first of all, they settled in Sapta Sindhu, which was the land of 7 rivers, where in and around those areas 7 different rivers existed. They gave that place a new name known as Brahmavarta, and the people, that the Aryans who came and settled down, were known as Aryavarta. Later on, it was found that they started moving around in different places as the community increased, as the people increased, to more and more people from the Aryan community started coming towards the Indian territories. Later on, it was found that they even went towards the Gangetic plains. To settle down or make their settlements. Now, these are the important terms that has to be understood when we study the basic or the introduction about who were the Aryans, from where they belonged, and which were the important territories that they occupied in Indian part in their initial or the starting ages of settlement. Now, as I told you about the Vedic literature, the Vedic literature has a very important significance into the tradition and cultural practices of India. This was the period when the Aryans came, the Vedic system started in India, which originated from the various different Vedas. Vedas means what? A book. A book which contained a book of knowledge and thoughts and wisdom, which provided various different principles and practices during the time. Now, initially it was said that when the Aryans or the Aryabharta started settling down during this period, which was known as the Vedic period or the early Vedic period, it was considered that they brought about significant, important, knowledgeable thoughts and principles adopted by themselves in writing or in oral methods. Now, it was during this time that various important literature or Vedas, you say, were been invented or were been incorporated. As we discussed, there were Vedas like Rig Veda, Sam Veda, these were the four important Vedas that were incorporated. Number one was the Rig Veda, then the Sam Veda, then Yajur Veda, then Atharva Veda. Now, these Vedas had its own individual significance or thoughts and principles which differentiates each of the Vedas about what it stated about or what principle it taught to the people or what learnings it provided to the people. In the initial stage, it was found that most of the Vedas were transmitted from one person to another during that time through oral communications, and later on when writings and methods of writing started, when they understood the principle of communication through writings, it was incorporated or inscripted in different form of writing of their own during that time. Now, understanding this, it is said that they propounded a new language which was known as Sanskrit. Now, basic knowledge about Sanskrit is that it was previously brought about by the Aryan community, and it is known as the mother of all different languages. That means what? From Sanskrit language, it was understood that different other form of languages started to originate, and that is why it was known, or it is known as the mother of all different languages. Now, there were various different important books or important writings that were found to be done during this period. Now, there were epical, it is known as epical thoughts or epics that were found, which was formed in form of Ramayana, and the second one was Ramayana and Mahabharata. These were the two important epics that were written during this time by the Vedic knowledgeable peoples who in different times brought about these various important epical stories or writings in their period. Now, Vedic literature formed a very basic or basis of their living style or living culture and tradition. Now, these Vedas or this important literature still has a various importance into the religious and traditional works in the modern times also, by most of the Hindu community of people that exist now. And it is said that these Vedas not only taught about religious practices, activities, it also contained various different workings of the people, including religious, economical, political, social life of the people, and what kind of activities that they had to do or they had to perform during the times were incorporated in different Vedas that few minutes back I had told you about, in different, which is differentiated in 4 important parts. Now, as per the Vedas, it is stated that they were literary works which were incorporated during this time. Like Vedas was one of the religious facts. There were other literatures such as Puranas, then Upanishads and epics. Epics, which I told you, was Ramayana and Mahabharata. Upanishads were there, Vedas were there, and according to that only, the society was also divided into various different parts or different categories. So this is about the Vedic literature, which states about important Vedas that were found during this time, and these Vedas gave rise, or through these Vedas various other important literature work were been found or been written during this time, such as Puranas, epical stories, then Upanishads, and etc. The next topic that we are going to discuss is about the political organization. Political organization. Now, as we all know that in today's time, we have political organization in form of government system, where there are various different branches of government system, right from the lower level of panchayat system, which exists in the village areas, towards the municipals, then blocks, then you have the state government, then the central government. Same wise, there were various different political organizations built during this time. It was said that the earlier people who used to live, they organized themselves into tribes, and this tribe were called as Janas, or the community of people who belonged to a particular tribe was known as Janas. They had different tribes of people who existed during the time, and each of these tribal community of people or group of people were known as Janas. Now these terms are very much important to be understood, so please concentrate in this and understand as to what basic things they practiced in their political system during the early Vedic period. Now each of these Janas had their own village organization. Each of these Janas had their own village organization, and this village was called as Gramas. This village were known as Gramas, and the people who lived in this Gramas were known as Janas. Now there was a head of the village who took in charge of various activities of these Gramas, who was known as Gramanis, or the headman of the village was called as Gramanis. That is the head of the particular gram or Gramas, which was considered, written here, was headed over by Gramanis. Now they have each of these tribes, this group of tribe, where again they had their own head above the Gramanis, who used to rule, which was known, the head of the Gramanis, or various different villages or various different people who belong to different tribal of people, having their own village or having their own communities, were headed altogether by a person who was termed as Rajan, or the person who takes care of all the different villages that belong to a particular territory. Now, this Rajan was considered to be the one of the ablest and one of the knowledgeable and strongest person among which from their own community, and who took over the workings and administrative system of all the different gramas that existed in their territory or in their circle. So these are the basic things of organization which existed in the earlier Vedic period, where people they made a group or community which was known as tribes, known as the janas. These janas belonged from a singular village, and each village was known or termed as gramas, and these gramas were headed by a headman which was known as the gramanis, and this whole group of people were again ruled by a strong and able person who was known as the Rajan, or you can say it as a king or an emperor of the territory. Now, the working of the Rajan was that they had to control, see and protect the welfares and the individual territories of their own areas, and they had to see that the workings of the people, their activities are properly formed in a particular way in which they had formed certain rules and regulations for their own community system. And there were these Rajans were also assisted by various different other abled people who were lower to the Rajan in his own kingdom. Now, same way we can see these principles being adopted in the modern times, where we see there is a main government who take care of the whole nation, and as the nation or a country is divided into various different states, each of these states have their own individual ministers, which is further subdivided into various important groups or villages, where these villages and groups are again headed by a panchayat system or a block officer. So in that way, they also, in the earlier period, they had their own hierarchy of authority, political organization and political authorities, by which the whole system of community was organized. Now, apart from this group of people, there were various important individuals who played a very important role in the functioning of the political system or organizations. There were people who were known as Purohits, then Commander-in-Chief. Now, Purohits were those people who took leadership in activities which was related to religious matters. They took active participation in various important activities which were related to the religious matters. And Commander-in-Chief were these people who were considered as soldiers, or warriors who defended the territory or their kingdom that they had. Now, these soldiers or warriors were headed by this Commander-in-Chief, who took a control, or whose working was to see that the soldiers and warriors that existed would bring about a peaceful environment in their own kingdom, and if they face with any kind of external attacks, they would wage war against them and defend their own territory. So other than that, these are the two important people who had their importance, and whole of this category of people were controlled mainly by Rajan or the king. Now, the next is about how the working of the villages or small communities were headed, or how it was, how the workings were done in the village areas. Now, as we know that in today's time also, we have in the lower part of the village level, we have panchayats, where again the panchayat is subdivided into pradhans and different units. In the same way, they also had two important units which were known as Sabha and Samiti. Now this Sabha and Samiti had their own individual importance. Now Sabha was a smaller group of unit which existed in individual village, and it was headed by the Graminis, which I had told you earlier, who were the head of the institute or head of the village, along with other experienced or knowledgeable or older people who were there in their own villages, formed the group of Sabha, and even the individual people of the village were the subordinate members of this Sabha. Now the Samiti is the larger form of, or larger than the Sabha, which constituted various different villages clubbed together into one. And this Samiti had members who were from individual villages, important people who existed from individual villages or tribes or janas, and they constituted the members of the Samiti. They took important decisions. They used to meet in various different times and discuss about various important issues and problems faced by different tribes or villages or community of people lived during this time. They provided important details. The Sabha and the members of Samiti provided important details which were furnished to the kings or the Rajan, and according to the information provided to them, the kings or the Rajan used to take decision as to what could be done to bring about better settlement or better functioning of various different villages and the kingdom or the territory as a whole, and how it could be regulated in a better way. So they provided ideas and decisions, or they used to discuss various important issues with the Rajans or other members of the officials of the kingdom, and whatever problems they face, that problems were being resolved or been taken over by the Rajan, and it was solved. Now the next important topic is about the social life. The social life of the people during that time. Now, as I told you, the Aryans came, they settled down later on permanently in different places, where in which they constituted individual village of their own community and tribe, and they composed or they started forming families of individual, and even it was seen there were joint families who used to live together. Now the head of the family was known as Grihapati, and he was one of the male members or the oldest male members of the family, who took control over the family, and his duty was to see that that particular family's problems and issues or day-to-day activities are being undertaken in a proper way. So most of the important decisions, or to see that the family structure or the social life of an individual family runs smoothly, were taken over or taken care by the Grihapati, who was the male member of the society. Now in this, what was the position of the woman? Now it is very interesting to know that early times the women were also actively participating in various different activities. Not only they used to take care of uh, their families or their individual existence or importance was given towards the family, but they were even had various important privileges in regarding to various different fields such as education. They were given equal education and equal importance in regarding to literature benefits compared to the male member of the family, and they also were very knowledgeable people or personalities during the time. It was said that during this period of early Vedic, even there existed women scholars who composed various different hymns or various different ideas in various Vedas that existed, and they were very knowledgeable and very understandable part of the community during the early period, which had almost equal status compared to the men in different workings of their society. And it is said that during this early period of time, the wives played important roles. Now, they were not allowed to perform religious activities. The various religious activities were most probably performed by a separate group of people or the male members of the family. But if there were chances of prevalence, if the permissions were given by the head of the family, they also were given opportunities in religious activities. Now there was a special category of system that existed during the time, which was known as Swayamvara. Now what does this term Swayamvara means is that during the early period, the women had an opportunity to choose their own husbands. Now, it was a kind of ceremonial activity where women had various options of men around her, and she could choose a life partner of her own choice. So that was the time that the women got a special kind of benefit, which was in regarding to choosing their own life partners. And it was said that during that time, child marriages were not prevalent. It did not exist, and even the women whose husband died or the widows were allowed to remarry or to again get into marital bindings in the later period of their life, to have a good and functioning of their life system in the later period, where if their husband died in the early stages of the later period, they had a choice of remarrying someone else. So this gave various important benefits or status to the women, where they strongly and equally participated in various different activities such as education, literature work. Some of the time even religious activities were also done by them, and they had a choice of choosing their own life partner. And one of the main thing which is seen or which is considered to be evil practice in today's time also was the child marriage, or not allowing the widows to remarry. What it existed, they were permitted to do remarriage after being a widow, or even the child marriage was not allowed. So these are the basic structure of social life, where men were considered to be the head of the family and the woman had its own preferential role to be played in the society in the early Vedic period. So we'll conclude today's understanding up to this, where in the next class we'll be knowing about various other activities or social life or structure of the early Vedic period people of the Aryans, where we will learn about the food structure, the recreation, the religious activities, and the other structural thing that brought or that has given significant background or platform of a new dimension of cultural activities and practices and traditions that existed during the early Vedic period. So this is all for today. Thank you very much.